on a quiet night in August 1977, among the endless stream of meaningless radio noise pouring through scientific instruments, something appeared that did not belong. Something brief, powerful, focused, unusual. A single signal, just 72 seconds. But those 72 seconds were enough to open a door of cosmic fear that has never truly closed.
The astronomer who saw the printout looked at it again and again, because what stood before him was unlike anything he had seen before. The signal was so striking that he circled it and wrote one word beside it by hand: "Wow." And from that moment, one of the greatest mysteries in the history of science was born.
This was not merely an odd radio burst. What made it unsettling was where it appeared to come from and how. It seemed to arrive from a specific region of the sky, near a frequency many scientists had long considered important, one of the most logical frequencies a technological civilization might choose if it wanted to send a message across interstellar space. If someone out there wanted to say, "We are here," this would have been a very smart way to do it.
And yet, the strangest part was this: it never returned. Not before, not after. As if someone, somewhere, opened a cosmic microphone, spoke for a moment, then went silent forever.
Imagine the scene: a giant radio observatory, a long night, computer printouts, scientists scanning the sky through streams of numbers, most of them ordinary, random, forgettable. And then, suddenly, hidden among the mundane, the extraordinary appears. A strange sequence, 6EQJ5. To most people, it means nothing, but to astronomers, it represented something extraordinary, a signal that rose and fell in strength in exactly the sort of pattern expected from a distant fixed source moving through the telescope's field of view.
That is what made the story truly frightening. It did not look chaotic. It did not look messy. It did not look like broken interference. It looked structured.
And with that came the question that never went away. What exactly did we hear? A star? A rare natural phenomenon? A satellite? A terrestrial reflection? Or a message?
Scientists did what science always does when it is working properly. They did not leap immediately to extraterrestrials. They tested possibilities: human-made interference, instrument error, natural hydrogen clouds, passing celestial objects, even obscure astronomical explanations. But each explanation seemed to leave a gap behind, a flaw, a detail that did not quite fit.
Because the signal was unusually narrow band, strong, directional, timed, then gone. No easy repeat detection, no simple confirmation, no second chance to catch it clearly again.
Perhaps that is the most haunting part of all. Not that we received a strange signal, but that we may have lost it. Maybe it was the first time someone, somewhere, called out across the dark, and we failed to answer, or worse, failed even to understand the call.
Space is not silent. It is filled with noise, bursts, radiation, stellar violence, ancient echoes from events millions of years old. But hidden within that ocean of natural noise, scientists have always searched for one thing above all else: pattern, intention, evidence of mind rather than mere matter.
And the wow signal looked disturbingly close to exactly that. Close enough to inspire awe, not close enough to prove anything. That is the cruelest kind of mystery, the one that stands just one step beyond certainty.
And so the speculation began. Some said perhaps it was an intelligent civilization testing a transmission method. Others wondered if it was meant for someone else, and Earth had merely drifted through the beam by accident. And then came the darker possibility. What if it wasn't a greeting at all? What if it was a marker, a detection pulse, a confirmation that somewhere, someone had found us?
Target identified. It sounds terrifying in any language, but now imagine it on a cosmic scale. In an immense universe, if an advanced intelligence were surveying worlds, scanning for life-bearing planets, cataloging civilizations, could the wow signal have been less of a hello and more of a notation, a cold acknowledgement that Earth had entered the map?
By 1977, humanity had started to change. Radar, television, radio, satellites, decades of electromagnetic leakage spilling into space. Our world had started to speak, whether intentionally or not, and if anyone far away had been listening, perhaps by then we had finally become audible.
That is what makes the question so chilling. Not is anyone out there, but how long have they been listening to us?
The scientists who studied the signal remained careful. They did not say, "This is aliens." They did not say, "This is definitely natural." But they said something more important. This event mattered. It deserved attention. It deserved investigation. And it deserved to remain open as a possibility.
Years passed. Technology improved. Telescopes became more sensitive. Search programs became more advanced. And yet, despite all that progress, the wow signal still stands alone, like a ghostly trace, a footprint on paper, a whisper through the dark that never returned.
That is why it became more than a scientific event. It became myth. Because human beings do not fear the known as much as they fear the incomplete, the unfinished message. The door opened just wide enough to reveal an eye in the darkness and then shut again.
Some people say the signal proves we are not alone. Others say the mystery proves only how eager we are to project ourselves into the unknown. But either way, the signal revealed something profound about us. It showed us how deeply we long to hear from the cosmos and how deeply we fear what the answer might be.
Because the existence of life elsewhere is not by itself the terrifying part. What matters is its nature, its intentions, its ethics, its science. Would such beings see us as equals, as children, as irrelevant, or as something useful?
We often look at space and imagine emptiness, but perhaps it's not empty at all. Perhaps it's simply too vast for us to catch anything more than rare whispers, and maybe the wow signal was one of those whispers, crossing unimaginable distance just to brush against us for 72 seconds.
72 seconds, less than a minute and a half, enough to live in human memory for generations. Why? Because it gave us no conclusion, only possibility. And in the universe, possibility can be more frightening than certainty.
Imagine you're alone in a massive house at midnight, and from the far end of a dark hallway, you hear a single knock. Just one. It never comes again. You never see anyone. You never find the source. Do you relax because the sound stopped? Or do you become even more afraid because you don't know who was there?
The wow signal is that knock, a single knock in a dark cosmic house. And even now, we still don't know. Was it chance? Or was someone truly standing behind the door?
And perhaps the more important question is this. If the signal returned tonight, would we be ready? Scientifically, psychologically, morally? Would humanity even agree on what should be said? Do we say hello? Do we remain silent? Do we retreat into fear and pretend we heard nothing at all?
Some scientists have warned against loudly announcing ourselves to the cosmos without careful thought. After all, on Earth, encounters between unequal civilizations have often ended badly for the weaker one. What if the universe follows the same rule on a scale beyond comprehension?
That is where the wow signal stops being merely a scientific puzzle and becomes true cosmic horror. Because the question is no longer only, were they there, but also, if they were, should we be grateful they never came back?
And perhaps that's why this story endures. It doesn't need blood. It doesn't need monsters. It doesn't need a spaceship landing before cameras. All it needs is a line on paper and a single word written by a stunned scientist. Sometimes the simplest things are the most frightening because they force the imagination to finish the picture alone.
One word, wow. Behind it, an open question stretching from 1977 to today. Who was there? What did they want? And why did they never speak again?
Perhaps it was never a message. Perhaps it was only a rare natural phenomenon we still don't fully understand. Or perhaps it was the first greeting ever sent to humanity from the dark between the stars, a greeting that arrived and vanished before we could understand it. But one thing is certain. From that moment on, humanity never looked at the sky in quite the same way again.
And if someone really was out there, maybe they're still wondering, even now, did they hear us?